The GT-R versus the RX-7. Well, first off, when I think about these two cars, I think about this movie clip.
Not bad, Kato.
And that's because the RX-7 is small, feisty, actually really fast, and it has so much style. But the GT-R, guys, I've been telling you for a long time, if you've been watching my channel, that these are incredible cars. Now, first off, before we start this video, I have to make a note in case you clicked on it and you don't know who I am. I own both of these cars. And that's an important factor because in today's world, a lot of people make videos about cars, reviewing them after they do a 10-minute drive. Well, that's not the case here. So when it comes to 90s JDM's cars, this is a 1994 and this is a 1995. And I think it's a great era to compare because not only were they the super JDMs, but they were kind of competitors. And that's why we're gonna go a little nerdy, but also more opinionated in this video. So when it comes to the GT-R and the RX-7, I could tell you right away that yesterday I drove this. I needed to go get something across town, 15-minute drive each way. And when I came back, I had the same smile that when you get off the roller coaster and your wife is waiting for you or your friends are waiting for you and you like walk up to them and you're like, have that smile. That's how I feel about this car. This is truly a special car and you don't need to do a lot to get it perfect. Like I have a downpipe, an exhaust, a test pipe, and it's got the Nismo self-resetting ECU. So it's got about close to 400 horsepower and it is fantastic. It drives great, the sounds are incredible, and the way that it accelerates is really cool. But I always like to really direct you guys to one thing that Nissan did that nobody else did. Not Toyota, not Honda, not Mazda, not Mitsubishi. They had individual throttle bodies for their car in the 90s. So they went ahead and put individual throttle bodies in their twin turbo setup. And let me tell you, it makes a world of difference. The RB is a masterpiece. The 2JZ is a power beast, but the RB is a power beast and a masterpiece. It is truly a special engine. Now, when it comes to the rotary engine, it is also an extremely unique experience. As a matter of fact, I saw a video yesterday that literally made me laugh and he made my day because he talks about how owning an RX-7 is an experience on its own, but it's sadistic. It is absolutely a little torturous. This is my 4th day I've been in the garage working on this thing. And all I'm doing is just updating things that are brittle, that are hard, but these things run so hot that you actually feel the heat inside the interior. You actually have to upgrade the cooling system and you actually have to pop the hood every time you park the car, or you're supposed to, which is crazy. And the fans stay on 10 minutes after you turn off the car, which is kind of a standard thing because my GT4 did that as well. But to give you an idea, this is definitely a connoisseur experience. If you were a non-car guy and you got one of these and you had no mechanical skills, it would be the worst decision you've ever done because you need to be like level 10 before you step into an RX-7. Like anybody who drives an RX-7, I automatically respect them because I know what they're going through or what they have gone through and what they know about the car. Like you truly have to know this car. Like other cars, you could just be like, I'm gonna give it to my shop. I'm gonna just let somebody else take care of it. That is not the case with this car. Like it is full-blown engaged ownership. And the great thing about this is that it's really nimble and the rotary is very special. There is something that feels so light about this car. And I've owned a Miata and I've owned an S2000. Let me repeat that again, because again, you're not gonna meet a lot of people who's owned a Miata, raced a Miata, taught people how to race a Miata and had an S2000 and can go and drive an RX-7 and then tell you how it feels. It feels lighter than all of those. It feels so light that it makes the car really special. So the amount of time you spend learning about the mechanical portion of it, you become a little bit more intimate with it. And I know that's kind of a weird word, but you become, you grow a little attached to it because you spent so much time. You got so many cuts in your hands and you've done so much reading that your eyes hurt, or I need reading glasses. But it is really a special car. But when it comes to the GT-R, guys, there's a reason why the R35 was the standard for supercars.
It did it. 1:19.7. And it's quicker than Carrera GT, McLaren SLR. Genuinely staggering.
As a matter of fact, the R35 was the standard for cornering, was the standard for most circuits. It was the standard because the GT-R is an absolute beast. And when it comes to the mechanics of it, I prefer it over Honda, and I definitely prefer it over Mazda. And I would say a little bit better than Toyota. But at the end of the day, I would say Toyota and Nissan are just user-friendly. The thing about Nissan is that it's so user-friendly that it's easy to learn on. Like, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, you know, RBs are tough. Well, if you buy one from overseas that you have no idea what it went through, it got beat up every day, it got neglected, the maintenance never got done, and then you get it and something goes wrong, it's not the engine's fault, it's not the engineering's fault, it's literally because you didn't buy the car right, and that's just being honest. So this thing is absolutely a dream come true. Of course, this is so much nicer as far as the lines and stuff like that, but the driving experience in GT-Rs are mind-blowing. If you think about the R34, the R34 is like $100,000, $200,000. Like, you don't see the Mazda there, you don't see most NSX there, and we're talking about your basic R34, not your Z-Tune, not your Neuro-Rs, not all these special ones. Like, Skylines are crazy cool. And the thing about it is knowledge is power. Did you know that the R33 and the R34 are almost identical mechanically? The transmission on the R34 is a get rag. There's a little bit of differences as far as some sensors and stuff like that. But as far as the overall build approach, it's the same. Now, certain things were different. They revised, and there's so many different RB26 blocks and heads and turbos and all that. But the original approach was the same. It was literally the R33 and R34 were pretty close, and the R32 was pretty much the foundation and the test. They really got stuff right after the R32. R32 is cool, but again, the R33 is a magnificent car. So when it comes to the RX-7, I love it. But again, it's one of those things that you have to be ready to take on that maintenance. But it is rewarding afterwards. It does give you a feeling that it was worth it. The best bargain, the best deal you could buy in a car. And if you want to learn about cars, if you want to get mechanically savvy, and you want a one-of-a-kind experience, the RX-7 is the way to go. But when it came down in the 1990s, if I walked into a parking garage and they give me 2 keys, most of the time I probably would have taken the GT-R. Luckily here in driver's therapy, it just depends how I feel which one I take. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to know which one is which. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You take care. I'll talk to you soon.